That one glorious word represents more than just the geography between the Sabine and the Rio Grande. It represents a unique idea and way of life. A life of rugged individualism, proud self-reliance, gritty toughness, and fierce independence. That is what made Texas, and that is what will save her again. Howdy, folks. Sam Houston here. I want to thank you for tuning into the Feed Bandit podcast. Feed Bandit is the Texas first outdoors brand built by rabid Texans, for rabid Texans, and all those who aim to be one someday. We unapologetically promote the ideals that shape our Texas pride and Texas first patriotism through our love of hunting, the outdoors, and the gear and apparel we create. Texas, above all else, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Check us out at feedbandit.com. And to repeat that great rallying cry from a former colleague of mine, liberty or death. Now, enough of my talking. Here are a couple of bandits that love Texas as much as I do. Enjoy.
Well, howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast. Jimmy back with you. And on this one, we're going to get back into our series about turkey hunting. We haven't talked the old turkey, the old thunder chicken in a while. Wanted to get back into that one, keep it fresh on our minds, because, you know, even though it is July, of course, when we're a ways away from turkey hunting again, it's still good to keep learning, keep that mind learning more tactics, tricks and tactics and strategies. And, when this one comes out, it's going to be after the Independence Day holiday, July 4th. But a little history nugget for you before we jump into our Texas history segment is that, did you know that Benjamin Franklin, founding father of our country, actually advocated for the humble turkey to be the national bird of the Confederation of States they're putting together, and not the bald eagle? So, something as innocuous as that, if that had happened, who knows how attitudes may have changed. Instead of being a vicious predator from the sky, being a humble bird running across the ground, I don't know. Maybe things would have been a little different. Food for thought. But with that, let's jump into a little Texas history. All right, around this Independence Day holiday, way back in 1863, what was happening in 1863? Well, that was the war between the states, or the war for Southern independence, or the War of Northern Aggression. I mean, you can call it any of those three things, and you would not be incorrect. Of course, you would be incorrect if you called it a civil war, because that's what it was absolutely not. But on July 2nd, 1863, Hood's Texas Brigade joins the battle at Gettysburg. Hood's Texas Brigade became a major participant in the Battle of Gettysburg on July 2nd, 1863. The brigade had been organized in 1861 in Richmond, Virginia. It was composed of the 1st, 4th, and 5th Texas Infantry Regiments, the only Texas troops to fight in the Eastern Theater. Colonel John Bell Hood had been commander of the 4th, and on July 2nd, 1863, the brigade led the assault at Devil's Den and Little Round Top, the crucial action of the second day of the battle. A soldier of the 1st Texas called the assault on Devil's Den one of the wildest, fiercest struggles of the war. After routing the Union forces at the Devil's Den, however, the brigade was unable to capture Little Round Top. A 35-foot monument to the men of Hood's Texas Brigade stands on the South Drive of the Capitol in Austin. All right, let's jump back into turkey hunting strategies. And here's a little interesting nugget here from this book we've been going through. Owl Hooting in the High Country, or Owl Hooting the High Country, and by this guy named Ray I. Says, I scout aggressively where I hunt in the Ozark Mountains. By moving quickly from one ridge to another, I cover a lot of ground and find many turkeys. I never use a turkey call to scout, though. Instead, I owl hoot. In my opinion, the owl hoot is the most misunderstood and underused call in the sport of turkey hunting. I've killed more turkeys because of hooting than because of turkey calling. A turkey call invites the gobbler to come to you. When you're scouting, you want to know where the turkey is, and you want him to stay there. If you yelp or cluck and the turkey is close to you, he'll come in, see you, and get spooked. A turkey won't come to an owl call, but he will gobble to it. When he gobbles, you can move close to him and pinpoint his location without fear he'll come into you. By owling and moving, I discover turkeys all day long, even at high noon. I've learned that a turkey that answers an owl will come to hen calls easier and quicker. Owling is also safer than hen calling. I hunt areas where there's quite a bit of hunting pressure. Other hunters are looking for turkeys, and I don't want to be moving through the woods giving turkey calls. Once I sit down with a tree wider than my shoulders at my back and a clear field of view in front, then I'll sound like a turkey, but not before. One of the most important ingredients in taking a turkey is finding a good calling position. Once I locate a gobbler by owl hooting, I look for open woods where he'll find comfortable walking. I always locate a turkey from a high ridge and then move down to him. I also search for a spot that won't let me see the turkey until he's in killing distance. When I see him, I want to be able to shoot. If I can't see the turkey, then he shouldn't be able to see me, and there's less chance for error. The longer a turkey can look you over, the more likely he is to identify you and run off. I never use a hen call when I'm looking for a place to take a turkey. I prefer an owl call. Then I can keep up with his location without his coming and seeing me while I'm looking. I hoot to judge distance, to keep up with his movement, and to find the best calling position. When I do make hen calls, I'm ready to shoot. If a turkey is visible to me, he should be dead. Now that's an interesting idea. An owl call, or owl hooting, to just pinpoint location of the turkey, and not using turkey calls. Now that is one nugget you can put into your belt of tactics right there. Because yeah, I mean, typically when I'm moving around or trying to locate a gobbler, I'll yelp or something, and then of course he'll maybe start walking towards where I am, and then I'm going to try to walk to him, and then watch us come around a corner and spook each other. All right, well, that's one that I'm definitely going to use next year, and yeah, see what happens. Well, we shall report back and see what happens. All right, now let's get into more tactics and techniques. And we're going to learn here about hunting the strut zones. So a strut zone may be a wheat field in Kansas, a river bottom swamp in Alabama, a ridgetop in New York, or a shelf on a mountainside in Missouri, or a lane between cedars in Texas. A strut zone is a place in the woods or in a field where a tom turkey likes to strut. Hunters will always be able to see a tom in a strut zone during some time of day, since that zone is his hangout. Sometimes he'll be fighting other gobblers there. This strut zone is where he likes to be and where he'll do a great deal of gobbling. Usually a turkey will be in a strut zone at a certain time of day. He'll generally gobble, but he'll rarely come to calling when he's in the strut zone. It's a place where he likes to show off and display himself because he feels safe and comfortable there. And he'll usually mate many hens in the strut zone. In most cases, a turkey will have more than one strut zone. For instance, he may have a strut zone in 15 or 20 feet from his roost tree, where he likes to fly when he leaves the roost. He'll meet his hens, mate, and do some strutting there. This tom may also have another strut zone along the edge of a creek where he walks to get a drink of water after he leaves his roost strutting zone. This second strut zone may be a quarter to half mile from the first one. But again, this is where the turkey likes to meet his hens, mate, and display. After a gobbler leaves his watering site, he may like to walk up the side of a hill to a little terrace and strut there. After he's been there for a while, he may go down to a strut zone in the field. So a turkey's having 1 to 6 strut zones is not uncommon at all. If left undisturbed, that turkey may make the same walk every day, going to each one of his strut zones in the morning and coming back through them in the evening, until he ends up close to his roost tree. Then he can fly up to roost just before dark. I've found that if a turkey isn't interrupted, he'll set a pattern of going to these different strut zones at the same time every day during the spring mating season. If you know that the turkey is going to show up in a strut zone, then all you have to do is kill him. All you have to do to kill him is be in the strut zone when he appears. So the trick to successful turkey hunting is to locate the strut zones. And one of the best ways to do this is to spend a lot of time in the woods. In disturbed pine needles or leaves on the forest floor, look for a figure 8 pattern made by a turkey dragging his wings as he struts. Also search for broken feathers and gobbler drippings in the area, or droppings. The gobbler droppings will be shaped like a fishhook, while a hen dropping will be more elongated. When you find a place like this, you can be pretty certain you've discovered a strut zone. And with no other information, you should be able to sit there either in the morning or in the afternoon and have a better than average chance of seeing a gobbler walk up on you. If you find that strut zone on the eastern side of a mountain, then you will pretty well know it's a morning strutting zone, because turkeys like to fly down in the morning on the sunny side of a hill to warm up as soon as possible. They do most of their morning strutting on the eastern sides of hills and most of the afternoon strutting on the western slopes of hills. But there's a better way to find a strut zone than simply walking through the woods looking for a figure 8 pattern on the ground. I'm convinced you should go into the woods a week before turkey season comes in and get on a high ridge that may have finger ridges running off it. Give an owl hoot or a crow call or whatever you do to make a turkey gobble, and then listen for the turkey to answer back. Using a flashlight to see by, write down on a piece of paper the time of day that the turkey gobbled, then try to move to within 100 yards of him. If you get within 100 yards and hear him fly out of the tree, put that information on paper. As a gobbler moves, keep up with his location by either owl hooting owl hooting to him or climbing on a ridge above and watching him. I listen for the hens clucking as they come to the gobbler after he leaves the roost. I use my compass to determine which way the hens are coming from, and I write that fact down, along with the time. My entries may look like this. 6:06 a.m., Tom turkey gobbles. 6:15 a.m., Tom flies down out of the tree. 6:25 a.m., hens come to Tom from southwest. The other piece of equipment I have with me before the seasons is a topographical map. As I'm determining these different directions with my compass, I mark on the topo map where I first heard the turkey gobble, the direction he flew down from, the direction the hens came from, the approximate place he met the hens, and other pertinent information. I plot all of these facts on the topo map so I begin to have a diagram of the turkey's daily routine. Man, takes a lot of patience, but that is a dedicated turkey hunter right there. Generally, I continue to follow the gobbler a while. He may go to a creek, get a drink of water, and then begin to do a lot of gobbling and strutting. So on my topo map, I note the strut zone, and just as important, what time the gobbler arrived there and how long he stayed. I also note how far the strut zone is from the closest road. For instance, I may travel a half to 3/4 of a mile to a turkey before I first hear him gobble in a tree. Then I may follow him for half a mile through the woods. But once I discover his strut zone, I may be only 200 yards from a logging road I can see on my topo map. Let's say the turkey is in his strut zone until 9 a.m. Now I could continue to follow him the rest of the day and try to find all of his strut zones. Man, I don't know if you're hearing this, but my email is going crazy. Bloop, 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 bloop. I have no idea. Ugh. More work. All right, where was I? Let's say the turkey is in a strut zone by 9 a.m. Now I could continue to follow him the rest of the day and try to find all of his strut zones. But most mornings I won't be able to hunt past 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Since I've already located this gobbler's strut zone and know which direction he comes from and which direction he leaves, what time he comes and what time he goes, I have enough information to kill him. Once I've done my reconnaissance on a particular gobbler in a strut zone, I'll walk straight towards the turkeys that are in that area. They usually putt, run off, or fly off, and I visually inspect the strut zone. Next, I tie a little white piece of cloth to a tree or bush about eye level in the strut zone. I take a compass reading to determine the direction to the nearest road. Then I mark my trail with a little white pieces of cloth as I walk out of the woods. When I arrive at the road, I lay a limb on the edge of the road or turn a rock over or leave some kind of mark I can see and understand but no other hunter will recognize. Then the evening before turkey season opens, I go back to the place where I heard the turkey gobble early in the morning and make sure he's still roosting in the same tree he was roosting in when I followed him. If I go back on opening morning and see a car parked right on the spot where I was listening for that turkey, then I know someone else is trying to hunt the same turkey and putting pressure on him, so I'm tickled to death. I know that hunter will attempt to get within 100 yards of the turkey and try to call the gobbler to him, and more than likely he'll attempt to call from a direction the turkey doesn't want to go. If the turkey's an old smart one, a boss gobbler, he's probably heard calling before and won't go to this new hunter anyhow. So all I do is head for the strut zone. I let the other hunter fool with the turkey early. I'm betting he won't kill the gobbler. As I go to the strut zone, I'm careful to remove all the little white pieces of cloth I left before the beginning of the season. Once I'm in the strut zone, I hoot like an owl, just to make sure the turkey's still there in the tree. But I never give hen calls until I'm ready to kill the gobbler. I look at my watch, and as soon as legal hunting time arrives, I start giving some light hen putts, which are called clucks by many hunters. I start calling as soon as it's legal because the gobbler may have gotten flushed off the roost by a novice hunter. Instead of taking 45 minutes or an hour to get to his strut zone, that gobbler may show up in 10 minutes. Another reason I start calling as soon as it's legal is that there may be another gobbler roosting within 50 yards of the strut zone. If I don't hear any gobbling after giving a few soft putts and yelps, I give a loud mating cackle. If he gobbles back at me, I call with an aggressive cackle, letting him know I'm ready to meet him. When he gobbles back to that, I hush. As long as he's gobbling and walking toward me, I don't call to him. Sometimes that turkey will walk right on in and I can kill him, but other times he may stop 50 to 100 yards short of his strut zone and begin to gobble and drum. Although his behavior makes many hunters think a turkey is hung up, actually he's not. He's just trying to get the hen to come to him. The trick now is to stay quiet and not move. The turkey may walk off to the right and gobble again, and often a hunter will turn to face a turkey, and in doing so will run the bird off. So instead of turning, stay absolutely still. This is the true test of a turkey hunter's nerve. An eastern turkey may walk around his strut zone before he comes into it. Sometimes I've had a turkey come in from behind me, past 6 or 7 feet from where I'm sitting, and walk right out in the strut zone. Once more, the hunter must have nerves of steel. His instinct, when he hears a turkey behind him, is to turn quickly and shoot before the gobbler can run. But if the hunter stays still, more often than not, the turkey will walk right past him and out in front of him. I've had a turkey so close to me that I actually had to squint my eyes to keep him from seeing the whites of my eyeballs. But let's say that for one reason or another, I don't kill the turkey. I may have spooked him, or someone else may have come in and run him off before he could get to me. However, my day's hunting isn't over. Before the season, when I located this turkey, I also discovered 6 or 7 more in other strut zones at other times. So I still have turkeys to hunt that day. To find various turkeys in other strut zones, a hunter must scout all day long. I do a great deal of owl hooting. Then, when turkeys answer, say at 10 a.m. or 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m., I mark their locations and the times on my topo map. Once I have 5 or 6 turkeys located in different places at different times, my hunting can really become exciting. For instance, if a turkey I'm hunting in a strut zone gets spooked at 8 a.m. and won't come in where I'm set up, then that hunt is blown. But after consulting my topo map, I see that I have a 9 a.m. turkey 3 miles away. So I leave my small white cloth flags to mark the trail to my 8 a.m. turkey. Then I can find him the next morning. I go immediately to my car and drive to my 9 a.m. turkey and try to work him. If my 9 a.m. turkey doesn't gobble, or I don't see him or get a shot, I've got an 11 a.m. turkey 6 miles away, and I can get in my car and drive there. By parking the car at the road closest to a turkey strut zone, I can easily and quickly get from one gobbler to another. So if you have 7 or 8 strut zones to hunt during a Saturday, the chances are about 99% that you'll bag a turkey before the day is over at one of those strut zones. By keeping your appointment with the turkeys at the times that they like to strut, you greatly increase your odds of bagging a bird. Even on a morning that's overcast or rainy, when turkeys don't want to gobble, you still have a 50-50 chance of bagging a gobbler if you have 7 strut zones to hunt. Another advantage to hunting the strut zone with this technique is that the turkey doesn't have to gobble in order for you to kill him. If you know what time he shows up and where, and if you take a stand close enough, you can often kill him without ever calling. Hunting these strut zones may be the only way to kill an old boss gobbler that's been fooled with and possibly shot at by several hunters over 2 or 3 years. And once you spend the time and to find a strut zone, you can usually kill a gobbler there every year because of the pecking order of turkeys. Once the dominant bird is killed from a strut zone, a subdominant bird will then exert dominance, picking up the old boss gobbler's hens and start strut and gobble in the same place where the boss gobbler was strutting and gobbling. In one strut zone I found at the Lake of Ozarks, my friends and I have now killed 25 gobblers. I don't know anything in hunting that's more productive or dependable than a strut zone. You can think of a turkey strut zone as being similar to a white-tailed deer's scraping area. Year after year, a deer will usually scrape in the same place during the rut, and year after year, turkeys will work the same strut zone. Yet another reason I enjoy hunting strut zones is that I like to do a lot of calling. I've had as many as 12 strut zones to work in a day. So I called to a different bird just about every 45 minutes if I move quickly enough. I like to call and to watch gobblers strut and drum, and I enjoy seeing how close I can make a turkey come to me or my hunting partner before we take him. By hunting a strut zone, I can do all of these things. Wow, now this might be one of the most valuable, entertaining and valuable turkey hunting strategies chapters or episodes yet. The whole idea of learning the strut zones. I can tell you, as much as I love turkey hunting, I have very much been the kind to go out to some old honey holes that I've had in the past. Have all my gear and ready to go. Stand there for a second, let the quietness kind of die down, or make it quiet early in the morning, and then start calling. We're using a hen call, seeing if I can hear a gobble somewhere. If I hear that gobble, then I'll walk towards him. Now I'll be thinking, okay, he's walking towards me. So definitely the idea is, and here's another excuse to get out to your land. You go out there a couple of weekends before the start of the season, and you do what was recommended here. Take an owl hooting call. Go out there and see in the morning and start patterning. A little tongue-tied there. Turkey, finding their strut zones, write them down at the times when you heard them over there. And man, this right here really excites me. This whole strategy right here, because I can see this. I can actually envision this working, knowing how the turkeys are in the places that we hunt, and now applying this, I mean, we could really slaughter them. So this one, I guarantee I'm going to re-listen to in the future, prior to, well, maybe the fall, but definitely the spring hunt this year. And we're gonna get out there and we're gonna pattern some turkey so that we can work them all throughout the day. Because a lot of people don't like to hunt in the midday and stuff, but they're still out there. You just got to find where they are, and this is a way to do it. So that's really exciting, very interesting. The whole idea of using an owl hoot so you can pinpoint location without risking the turkey coming to find you and you spooking it, trying to find him, and then doing the patterns, finding that strut zone. Lining that up. Wow, man, I'm fired up now. Need to get out there and start doing this with some turkeys. All right. Well, that's what I have for you on this episode. Really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. I have mentioned on some past episodes that our polos, you can go out there. They're available for pre-order. So go take a look, see what we have. We have 8 pretty cool polos available. And then we have other hats. So please go out there and take a look. And you join the email list. You'll get a little special discount. And then, we just love for you to be part of the Feed Bandit family. Continue, obviously, hopefully listening to us. We're going to bring a lot more information in the future. Try to get back into some more interviews with some folks. So that'll be fun. And then, some more gear and some other cool things. So we're really trying to make this a cool community for you and your child who you're trying to bring into the hunting, and who you're trying to teach the benefits of loving the state of Texas and the pride that comes with calling yourself a Texan. Whether you live here or not, whether you're a native-born Texan, or you got here as fast as you could Texan, or a Texan by heart somewhere out there. Either way, we really appreciate your support and your support of Texas. So with that, I thank you very much for listening, and remember, support your local feed store.
Well, I hope the Bandits gave you an interesting episode that either entertained or educated you. Or better yet, both. Hell, I told them this podcasting thing looks harder to do than defeating Santa Anna. So if you would, please help them out by sharing it with all your like-minded friends to help the Bandits get the word out. And don't forget to check us out at feedbandit.com and grab some gear and apparel to support the cause of Texas. Remember, Texas, above all else, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Finally, as I said some time ago on the eve of the great battle, and I vigorously repeat here again, be men. Be free men, that your children may bless their father's name. Well, fellow bandit, until next time.